I'll make sure that I sell my agenda to other colleagues from other countries and see how we have an East Africa that benefits our people. So that if there is a referendum about East Africa, the people vote overwhelmingly to support the existence of the East African community. I want to say thank you. Asante sana. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale ino, mwebale munonga, afoyo, eyalamanoi, owanyala nabi, Uganda yetu, East Africa yetu. God bless you. When you get a chance, tell a friend to vote KAIJA, Harold as one of the MPs of East Africa, representing the opposition, but in this way would be representing the people of Uganda. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Kwano gwange nsangaira okubona. Amsa kubalitubona. Kaleso.
Abakagwa twala omukisa guno okubalamusa banaffe tuli mu buwambe abebusoga abe Uganda yona waliwo omukwano gwange amita Febe naye bale ali amukatale wandegeya gye baba tutete balinnya omanyi ndalo z'obutale zaakomyewo bubali balina deadline y'okukyusa obukulembeze ku second kati agirimu naye siba super gulu ani alaba oli anywedde naye n'anywera ono namulabye ku TV nga ganga n'okuyikayika njagala kumusaasira olw'obuzibu olwa mikwano gyange ababiri ku Dream Restaurant era awandegeya balina ga TV ganyi nabo ababwala bawaitu mwenna abeerako nambiro n'abala mwenna njagala kubalamusa njagala kusaasira mukwano gwaffe badde amuyita Mutume Robert ali muna DP nagenze kivuyo simanyi nti Mutume ate musoga kati twagenze omuziika ngenda okulaba omukulu w'ekikabo yazze nga beeyiganga ali beeyiganga yabadde author yawandikako n'akatabo ku Dr. Besigye badde awandisa obutawo he was a motivation speaker ayigiza abantu okulima okukola we are together at university naye kati n'atango ninafuna developing a kidney problem so for since ng'akava ku university baali bakazala omwana abuumu nibayika so kati all these years n'ava ku by'okukola ebyogenda biri form n'akufuuka author so naddayo n'asoma he was supposed to have his graduation party today naye ku Saturday last week he dropped bagenda mutwala mu ddwaliro nga afudde era mja kwebaza mukamange Dr. Besigye n'apikingako omwana omu bwanaga buto nagawe tumutwale tumukole ki tumusomese. I've seen abalamu namwe ababadde n'ebizibu. I just want to send my sympathies to you n'okwogera okusaba bannange binsaba akalu aka East Africa ebusoge nyinayo obululu nyinayo akamudde obwa Bedinasa eyiganga nyina aka Honorable Aga ka Honorable Salam Musumba wali gundi Amini Sadiki ali Busia so njagala okubasaba akalu n'abaka ba parliament bonna abebusoga n'awandi
nga bo bala batono nnyo
anedda nti akati ate electoral college kati kuleva eri eddako abebusoga bonna n'abandi bonna ayibadde bakole ki banteeko tiki
ndakutwala ebusoga at that time oyongera okuba ati ngo basaba akalulu. Once again we have you.
Yeah, thank you Samuel. It's good to be back. To experience my busoganess once again.
Yeah. That's very good. Ona kolwa lero ensonga ningi no detudde okubatenga twogera kubaziranga tukale kubatenga tujawala abantu abali ebusoga n'abawanga ya Busoga n'Abanayuganda twende okubatenga tubedi kuzona okola okutandisasira eri kwida luna kurasha bazingadde emikolo gijja kuba awo ku kitebe kyo bazinga ebugembe ebikuduko bijja kuba bikulu ino ate ng'ona kurene olwo gavumenti y'eggwanga lino eri ya Uganda welijja okubatenga etugemya olubiri lweyazimbira baba isebisha bazinga mu butongole awona kurene olwena kudomo ezinga 10 era kuluna abasoga kuzira ikomo abantu muna mwanirizibwa ku mukolo ogwo lata isebisha bazinga wabusoga atenga ayigula obusoga lushiko omwaka guno omukozi ogusooka twenda kusobola okuba atenga tubakunga muna muweeyo ezirajja bakuba nti nze bampaire kaadi ate nze tubampaire kasawe nawe no obwidi ngoli musoga toli musoga oli muna Uganda n'abatali mu Uganda mwede tusobola okuba atenga tubaawo nedindi kwedde ensonga nenda sobola kuba ate nga mbuusa maiso wetwidde okuba ate nga tutandikira olunaku olwaleero mu nsonga edikoze amawulire mu iwanga lino erya Uganda week eno olunaku olw'eddo enaku ly'omwezi nga 6 lujaba lunaku lwa Terehi Sita amagye aga Uganda People's Defence Forces President Museveni gaidye nga akoba nti Nigeria abantu the disciplined army yatoola empisa yatoola mu empisa ebbaali embi mu mirembe egyo egyasooka nga saawa eno omukungu oba omulamagye owa UPDF n'owundi oyo akasinza okuba n'empisa so professional era nga ya Uganda erya Uganda People's Defence Forces lyeyagaza ne ku lukalu lwa Africa East Africa era nga n'abana Uganda bali proud olw'eggye lyabwe ensonga edifaanana dityo balijja kuba ate nga baana emikolo egya Terehi Sita egy'omukuzi ogwana n'omulala ebikudduko bijja kuba mu disitulikiti ya Mbale ensonga eyo tudda kuba ate nga tugyogerako bakoze ebintu bingi ino baniriza obutale every time babajja akola Terehi Sita activities similar bajja baniriza obutale bayeya enguudo balonda ebikaba and other activities twenda okuba ate nga you give our opinion as it is said nti egyo liri professional as it continue to grow with years lyongere okuba ate nga litereera in discipline and acting professional iwe omuna Uganda ali eyo kiki tubandu betulingako ku mukolo guno ogw'olunaku olw'eddo and in the current state aging the Uganda People's Defence Forces and other security forces okuba nga dikekizibitinga ekyo kyogerwaku oba ensadaawa mu muluso gatukoba nti oba baduuluuka empisa oba nga baduuluuka empisa what can we do abaka ba parliament saasire n'abali kuli oluvuganya government bona basinziiraawo beekandega bafuluma parliament titusobola kuteesa ku bindi na bindi nga mikwano gyaife giri mu ikomera bali kuvundira ekyo tino omukuzi ogusooka nga bafuluma parliament okufuluma kwebwa okwa parliament is it the lasting solution okuyamba ba prison detainees abali eyo nga abasinga ne family debe dabeerabira nenda tutandikira KAIJA abaka ba parliament kati guno mulundi gwakubiri
yasosenga ogibuusa
tugenda giddako simanyi lwaki yagadde interest ebadde awoona
owange
naye nga tugenda kujjaawo
ffe batugamba question number 1 kasoma ogibuuka ekibuzo kiba kikaayi bw'ali osomyeko question ono negaana okula true olaba nti pepe ekaaye kuba question esooka gitandikira kakala nawo kunoonya eyokubiri naye bwola question esoose egaaji oluusi nokkirira ku yokubiri really kubanga abantu abasinga question esooka bonna bagikola kuwanyi mukama wange
twagala okulaba abaka ba parliament bano sigwe mulundi ogusooka balaga they pay allegiance ku mikwano gyabwe ab'eŋŋanda n'abalonzi baabwe abali mu makomera abamu bamanyiddwa n'abamu tebamanyiddwa okufuluma parliament ne bagamba tetugenda kuteesana ku nsonga zino katubeere nga tulaga obulumi kimala
no kiyinza obutamala nekina kyekikola kuba world over abaka parliament nayo sayira emwe ey'obugunjufu yo gatumuvinza ototwe kuba bwe tuba tutudde nga totulaba katuveewo tumanya obutabaawo kwaffe kuyinza okubaako kyekukolera kubanga parliament gye bayita eya multi-party democracy sayidi zombi zirina okubeerawo singa emwe bateriiwo in a normal sane country parliament yeddakiika gyekoma okutuula kakati bwe tatuula kibaga bulumalaza lwaki parliament etudde ekyokulaba kyolina okulabamu nti abaka parliament bakulaga nti waliwo batudde ebizibu by'eggwanga oba abantu abali mu buwambe tebasobola kufuna how do I call it tebasobola kufuna justice nga bakozesa parliament nekira ne bakussa ku sport bakakatulaliso kidiscussingako ye kooti ziri luddawa naga judiciary ezo file mu file zeri mu kukolako iyo file tegitunulidde ez'abantu abamaze ebbanga mukomera ebbanga eddene waliwo omukwano wa Captain Byalugaba abeera muno mu Ntinda. Captain Byalugaba yamala emyaka 9 ku remand emakindi
nga tasalirwanga
emyaka 9 ku remand ng'ali awo tugenda n'omukyaliako n'afiirwa n'abaana be babiri n'atasobola kubaziika bwe twabasaako pressure bagenda okujja judgment ng'eri awo erina ekibonerezo kya myezi kati nga judgment esinga remand gyokoze ki so kati nga bakuwa remand yo kibategeeza beetaaga okusasulira so nti bakulaga nti tuli mu nsi emenyese tuli mu nsi etakyalina gundi institutions nga tezikola nti kati oyina kwekalakaasa bakole ki bakulabe bakwamuzi kyembasaba singa na luli bwe beekalakaasa bwe bavaayo tebaddayo mpaka nga kibasaba bakirabyeko naye ne gwe baali beekalakaasa yayita tannabako kyakumitinga ne baddayo era kyembasaba olwaleero bamale okuwulira
bakiwadde leader of opposition yagambye for 2 weeks.
Yes, bamale okuwulira. No, tosaana kiwa 2 weeks gamba abantu bano nga tebadda batwala mu court. That's the bare minimum. Produce them in court. Bw'otunuulira omugongo gwa mukwano gwange kakwenza mwe mulaba bifaananyi neffe abaagulabako physically utandika ovulaba ekibuzo namemu kiwadde ombuuza naye nti tuyina amagye nga gaffe nga kakwenza y'omu kubasasula omusolo ogubalabirira
era Munayuganda.
So mbwe ekintu kino kyoli mukulaba parliament tukitulira nga kisukka parliament human violation of human rights okulinnyirira eddembe lya buli munnansi okuli mu ggwanga muno kufuuse nnomo nti bw'ogenda ku poliisi nomalamu essaawa 48 bakutwala mu kooti nakyo yakicelebrating when actually bwe budde bwotalina kusukka
so wekibeerawo gamba ekisemirako obadde tokisuubira
no genda ku poliisi olaba abantu abaliyo olaba babuuza gomaze wano bbanga ki eyakamalawo weeks 2 ye alaba nga taluddewo
so nga tutagenda maaso ekyabaka ba palamenti gwogamba kijja kukola
no simala bakijja kukola ne muvi gye bakoze ki nonje kubanga omuntu gwe tudiringa naye tategere talina nsonyi ayinza okugamba mbukamba fiise naye kye bakoze step nungi nze nali mbaddeko mukomera nga ne mukomera birembe nti buli lw'obanya banno nga basituka ku nsonga gy'oliko naawe obeera mukomera okola ki oguma buli lw'obeereyo munda ng'olinga bali fayiro bagibikka n'ababo fayiro bazwaki bazibikka bali mu kwogera simaki bayita development na biki they don't make sense
simba kati omukulu what is your opinion ku nsonga eno
n'okuzabe tewamwanjudde eri abalabe you did
nja kuwakadde ng'era otandika
gwe egwe kyanziza
KAIJA
my name is Dismas.
Yes, that's what I'm telling him.
KAIJA agamba nti kino kye baakoze kijja kuyamba naye si gwe mulundi ogusooka baafuluma palamenti ne bakomawo ng'ekibafulumizza tekinnabakolebwako. What is your opinion on this?
I think Harold said it very well. It's just a statement of a fact. What you are trying to say is to express. You are showing that we are disgusted by the nature in which people's rights are being violated. So to the extent that we are out of parliament, like he rightly said, it's a parliament that is composed of both opposition and
the ruling party.
So if one section of parliament is not there, it means that there is imbalance in terms of the decision making that you can make as a parliament. So to the extent that these people are not in parliament and you're not, it is only a sign of telling either the institutions that are in charge of arresting people, torturing people, making the decision of how people should be tortured, to be on the alert that actually the public and including representatives of people in parliament are aware of the things that you are doing. And the extent to which the kind of torture that is happening in this country, I think I do agree with Harold. You should have asked us, should we first comment about what kind of army do we have? Is it the army that we...
National army.
The national army that is supposed to be protecting the Ugandans. If you saw the pictures of Kakwenza, someone is telling him that those are UPDF tattoos. If you saw the pictures of Masereka, I think Masereka is a NOP person in Kasese. And you look at those pictures, you can't believe.
Remember the other mayor of Kamwenge. An NRM person.
Yes. So the extent to which we praise the army, there can be a development of the army to become a professional army, becoming very good in terms of fighting or protecting the president and his family or protecting national installations. But as to whether they are protecting Ugandans and giving them the due life that is necessary for them to praise and say this is a national army is a different question.
Okay, KAIJA abadde agamba nti this time singa bapasistinga before going back to parliament ekibafulumiza parliament no kikolebwako. Do you think those people who are detaining these people, they have ears and eyes and senses of sensing these actions, and they can make an action because these people have gotten out of parliament?
Unfortunately, so no. Unfortunately, no. Because the people who torture, and there is someone who I think is doing a profile of exactly who they are, they do not believe in any other source of command other than a certain command that comes from the president and his people. So those people actually, whether you tell them about parliament, they will just even jeer. They will say, parliament, walking out, is it going to change the order that have been given in order for me to exact revenge at Kakwenza for insulting, so to say, insulting General Kainerugaba? No.
So even when these people are out of parliament for months, it will not make
it won't change. The people will still torture. What I'm trying to think is that it's one sign, it's one element of things that people are showing public disgust about what exactly is happening. But whether members of parliament don't stay out even for 4 months and telling these people, if the next morning someone does something that hurts any of the people, the elites that want to torture a person and exact revenge on them, they'll still carry it out.
KAIJA, solution yeetya?
No, actually,
kunda agamba nti bali abatoshalinga balabika tebagenda kuwulira bino.
Actually, ensonga gye nagamba Oyanjule Desmas, mu mutwe gwe information gyalina maya nti bategere muntu bakola ki twalage nti omuntu amukoze ki twamwanju domanyi abantu abamanyi nti abantu amayobera n'amasuuti gabakoze bate so era kyova wankoze okuba nti yasonga nti abo information etuukira ku bo oluusi gye bagiwandiika ffe ne tugikola ki so omwayibu ojjabo noja n'alaba n'ategeera ni bwe yakoze ki kuba abantu basinga basoma byawandiika naye tebamulaba bamutegeera kakati bamutegeera nemanya nti waleese kafulu then oli bw'alaba si data I don't know subscription ngatera okugwako akole ki ayongereko era ndooza mukomyewo nnyo ajja kuwa bingi.
It's now part of this.
Yes, what is behind the what is behind the news? The word solution is an overstatement. Mugane mtu bonyabonya okuwa solution.
Wanga temuzirino bazaabagwako.
Walola byeko gola kati wabala waliwo sajja twalingano nga tuli bato waliwo omusajja yalinga aina bugundi bwabaga bukatuna I don't know nira bidogo twabuyitanga bugolo gwose nga tubulaba nenga aina empale ng'obanga eriko engoye nga mmeka nga bagitunga ebiraka kwegamba n'ekiraka ne bakituuka n'ekiraka you cannot define you know
they cannot mend it again.
No kanku example ejja okutegereka obulungi. Naku lumu waliwo lawyer ali amuyita Mulumba yafa. Yali mulwadde ku Kampala Hospital. So nengenda mulabe. Mba nfuluma, mba nyingira Dr. Olive Kobusinje nga afuluma. Mwanyina Dr. BESIGYE. Nemubuuza nti how is council? Nangamba he is in a state of mild organ failure. Ekigambo ekyo simanyi ogwe kikuwa sense.
It is dead.
Why olulimi lwabwe olwo bw'owulira nga organ failure.
It's a polite statement.
N'ofuna akikubuulira tokkiriza n'eddakiika eddako okubako bbiru gy'osasula. Bagenda bamuggyeko ebyuma mugende muziike. Kanengenda kati ngenda mpulira omutwe akola ki? Nange nentya. After fika kati amingalo abali bagundi ba garuga bali buli omwali mu kusonda sente bamu flying out.
Nanga gwe bamaze okugamba kino.
Gundi akingenga yafuluma. Olwaite dakika nga 3. Nuyo nazikira mouth organ liver esirise, kidney esirise, I don't know those other organs.
No mutima.
No mutima. Gwiza n'okubanga n'obwongo guseka kati olika katoka katitititi. Kakati this is
how do you relate this the kind
so
situation?
You are asking us okuzza omuntu oyo engulu. Waliwo ekintu ekituuka mu mmotoka nze nali neebuuza bwe nali ng'omuto nga neebuuza lwaki obakolera rediyo wabiroga rediyo agalala nga bangi lwaki waba oli kafulu mu kukola rediyo mbutazikola zonna nannyini zo n'azitwala lwaki obakolera emmotoka osanga akamotoka waliwo etuuka nga yeetambuza mbagita overhaul
so kati Uganda tulimu
okubaako byojjamu kanala olugano nti eno emmotoka ekyamagezi ekikulu kugula ndala. Eno gavumenti eya Mwai Museveni weetuuse yo yennyini tekyasaa kwetereza terina mulayinza kuva bweru njogeddeko n'abalala bakuze okujja mu opposition n'omusanga n'agamba owange ekintu ky'abasajja kifu naawe kyolina kukola kukwatamu byokwatamu ogenda obeere bulungi
nga opposition be bagamba
anti ng'abebali bwe bagulabwe nga abawala bagenda kujja nomekale come and bring your good ideas ojje tukole n'agamba kiri ekintu ky'abali bw'ogezaawo kwagala okutereeza gugubatta
so tekikyasobola terera
no you just can't
kale let me just
wamuwulira
get a commercial break
baleeta second bwe baleeta gundi Betty Kabi
nga
IGG bwe yajja n'agamba nti weetaga lifestyle audit
genda
kiyama ne mugamba ati
studio tuli kulingirira ku nsonga ebbeyiwanga lino erya Uganda nkobye nti olunaku olwaido lunaku lwa Terehi Sita emikuzi 40 ensonga ningi no ku lunaku luno nsendi kwenda sobola okuba ate nga tulingako after our first part nga tulingirira ku nsonga eddabaka ba palamenti okwekandega bakoba nti mikwano gyeffe bali mu kuvundira mu makomera and n'abandi kwabaka ba palamenti Alan Sewanyana ne Muhammad Sejirinya bakali eyo n'abandi kwabo idukira nti ekibiina kya National Unity Platform einumaawo abantu abasinga bye baawambibwa ino baavaayo ne list yaibwe government yaleeta list FDC, DP and most parties zedi ku opposition nga bakoba nti nambe y'abantu abawambibwa bangi okusinga ku government list yaleeta. We don't know where that politics ended. Government ne list yaleeta abantu abo baavaayo bati baavaayo ntisaana otukoba abantu abawambibwa oyinza okuba nga you cannot even have good statistics tutwidde bantu bameka abaliyo then twaida mukaire akafaano ni kano nga amaji Uganda People's Defense Forces galinga gakulira security mu Uganda and other security forces same way police what but singling out UPDF nti according to President Dr. Museveni the commander in chief aidenganga praising eranga is proud of his army of the army yakoba nti amaje gali profession gali disciplined I cases Bode bakoba nti they are isolated cases ngoyagananga abandi ku officers aba UPDF bakole ebintu ife bye tubonanga ba mwananchi nti they are professional. If abantu be wansi nifo tubona obubi oba that is the professionalism, because I don't just want even to list that and that cases in UPDF very culprits of human rights violence and what I knows that it is a time when we can no longer say that the professionalism and discipline, Mr. Kunda.
No, ideally the UPDF could be a professional army, ideally. But it's the misuse of how that army is handled that has been. Because if you go inside and look at the people who are actually within UPDF, they're very professional people. They're people who are very well educated. I can give you an example. There are some people who have been, like, for example, army commanders, well trained in law, well trained in human rights, but still the aspects of human rights violation. In other words, the command structure can be that the top sometimes does not understand the people who commit the crimes, or they do not have control over those people who are going to commit those crimes. So for us, I can't say with certainty that UPDF generally has no professions. It has professional people, individuals who are we know, we have grown up with, people who are who could be well, have good intentions for the citizens. But there are some elements who are recruited. Let me tell you, the security structure of the UPDF, it's not the UPDF that you see only. There are so many auxiliary security forces that run into this country. There are so many. There's JAT, there's what, there are many. I think the last time I counted there were about 21 different security formations. So which formation then is torturing people? Under whose command? Do we generally put it that all of them are under UPDF? If under UPDF, who are you answerable to? Who is your commander? Not everybody under UPDF answers to the president or the commander-in-chief. There are different formations, like I told you. So those formations have their own heads. So those heads who then commands them to be able to carry out the acts like they have done, that has made members of parliament move out, or that has made us look at a person like KAIJA and Masereka in the manner in which they are looking, which is extremely very shameful. So for me, I don't think that we should generalize and say that the UPDF is not a professional. There are individuals within UPDF who are professional, but the question is, who are the elements, who are the different formations within the UPDF that are carrying out these acts that are making Ugandans have a second thought about what UPDF should be?
So it's a discussion that the subordinates down as if they are doing contrary to the orders they are given by their commanders. And if we have the professional commanders, and the sense of command is, and the relevance of having the commander is to download his professionalism to the subordinates.
Samuel, you're forgetting one thing. Command and control of an army are two different things. You can be a commander, you're a brigadier, you're commanding a battalion, but you're not in charge. There's someone else who is in charge. So the point is, command and control, who is in control? Who made the decision that KAIJA did a Twitter, and that Twitter, he must be punished for writing a Twitter about General Muhoozi Kainerugaba? It can't be General Mbadi. No. There's some other facility that was able to say, okay, let's teach this young man a lesson. I was shocked when I saw Harold, I think you know him, Aaron KIZZA, yes, the lawyer for KAIJA, coming before a camera, a lawyer, a human rights lawyer, a lawyer who is defending someone and saying, I will never abuse Museveni and his son, ever in my life.
Because of what he had
seen. What he had seen. He said over TV, I will never.
The commander and the control.
Command and control.
The command and control.
Yeah, that's what
yes.
it's called. That's what it's called.
I'll come back to you. Hey, still the same question. At the first time, kyekibuzo kyoyagadde otandika nakyo. nze nenjagala tutandikire wali
njakwebaza Dasmax bagundula submission gyawadde Uganda People's Defence Forces. For starters, erinnya wa Museveni teyaliagala
kubeera Uganda Defence Forces,
and he has said it. Era kyova olaba ennamba zaabwe ez'amagye si za DF,
The NRA.
RO,
RO, yes.
Resistance Officer.
are we so us here we are seeing the Defence Forces?
Yes,
Can
that
it
is
be
what
that
they...
inside it's another thing?
Anti bo aba delegates kyebakola ki abagenda mugundi mu CA bo kyebagituma n'agamba takyagala era obutakyagala era oziraba gundi nti nesigala nga ziri RO. Number 1 wa UPDF mulimu n'abasirikale abutali ba UPDF nga bali kubanga namba bajja bazigaba kubanga namba za UPDF zali badde zitandika after 1995.
Yes.
Mu bufunze Museveni singa talina namba mu UPDF kuba retired.
Yes, sir.
Naye alina ki enamba. Black Mwesigwa yafa mu 1972 alina ki enamba mugana amagye. Olunaku Terehi Sita si lwa amagye ga UPDF lwa rebel outfit. Mu bufunze tetulina magye, tulina akabinja k'abayeekera.
KAIJA, that
It's not.
That is a bit contrary. UPDF eri mu Uganda kabinja kabayeekera.
Olunaku lw'oli mu KUZZA olumanyi mu Swahili mukaaga ogwokubiri Terehi Sita mukaaga ogwokubiri kiki bajjukirako ng'abayeekera balumba enkambi ya gavumenti. Let's say attacking a government installation. So who is celebrating? Is it government or rebels?
Bali ba rebel by then.
Nedda.
This is the army we have transformed now.
Baani abajaguza nasose nakutandise bulungi nenkutegeeza nti amajege mwina ga RO CDF nekugamba bw'otunya namba zaago zikyagobera namba z'abayeekera gali incremental.
Nange nembuuza ogambye tulina kabinja kabayeekera.
Yes, kubanga
UPDF ke kabinja kabayeekera oba abajaguze ensa.
Fe UPDF yali badde celebrating olunaku where they promulgated the what? The constitution.
And it became UPDF.
Nifuka UPDF.
So bani abajaguze.
Nebo obango olina gyoyita amedde ng'ojjukira abayeekera okulumba ki installation ya government. You still have a rebel outfit.
Kyembuuza bani abajaguze nkya ba UPDF bayeekera.
Abayeekera.
So Uganda tulina amagye tulina bayeekera.
Tulina bayeekera.
Tetulina UPDF.
Omukulu yagigaana. No, omukulu akola ebintu bye mwe temubifaako. Alina ebintu alina symbolism z'akoleramu temuzifaako. Yagamba sikyagala nekikola ki?
So President does not see the UPDF as UPDF. He sees...
Yes, akati RO002 Kategaya. Kategaya dilo ali mu UPDF. Gwe yagala okulowooza. Mwesigwa Black, I think is about 00 or 03 or 04. Gundi Ahmed Seguya
002.
Yafira muki kamanda w'abayeekera agamagye gabagaaki.
So which message do you send to Uganda?
I am not sending a message. I am interpreting.
Genda kuddira kunda. KAIJA say we don't have the army. We have a group of rebels that are going to celebrate tomorrow.
Okay. What I can say from what my brother Harold is saying is that we have a national army, but it has a rebel mentality. It is still stuck into the rebellion of their time, of that time. the national army that we have, we do see them. We know that there are certain things that, of course, they are doing. Sometimes I remember that actually during the CA, the Constituent Assembly, when they were discussing about the UPDF, one of the persons actually who suggested that who was a very good proponent was the late Noble Mayombo, proposing that we make it the Uganda People's Defence Forces. On the same lines of TDF, the Tanzanian Defence Forces.
And the Kenya Defence Forces.
And the Kenya Defence Forces. Because what they wanted to avoid is to call it Uganda Army, which was a reflection of what Idi Amin had and Obote. So they wanted to have it's a pro-people defense force, defending Uganda people. And that's where the irony lies, is that is it actually territorial integrity of defending the territory called Uganda? Maybe that one happens. But you can't defend a country when you're not defending the people who make that country, the people who pay the taxes, the people who are. You are responsible for maintaining their peace and security. To the extent that when I like using an example of refugees in Uganda. I work on refugees quite a lot, and one of the things that we did on refugees is that we asked them, if you were to run for help, where would you run to? Would you run to the office of the Prime Minister, or would you run to Uganda Police? All of them said would rather go to Uganda Police. So equally, Ugandans would have loved the situation in which they say, the only people that I can be in their hands and I feel safe is the Uganda People's Defence Forces. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that, as you have seen in the events that have led the members of Parliament to leave, to walk out of Parliament. Is that celebrating Terehi Sita, like Harold saying, Terehi Sita is a day. And I wrote about it quite a lot when I was in the Monitor. I wrote about it, Terehi Sita, and I wrote about the chronology of how it came to become Terehi Sita, the preparations that happened at Matthew Chikere's home, the truck that was driven by General, I forget his name, he used to work in anti-smuggling, and many others, the Freddy Rwigema and General Paul Kagame and all that. The process under which they hid themselves, in which they went to attack Kabamba, how General Eli Tumwine made the first shot that actually caused the problem instead of, so there's another story that is around that. But that day is not a UPDF day. That's what Harold is saying. It's not a UPDF day. We should have had a UPDF day. Maybe it should have been on the day that we promulgated the Constitution, 1995. Because celebrating Terehi Sita is not celebrating the UPDF that we constituted as a constitution.
Exactly.
We are celebrating the memories of
the rebels.
Of a rebel outfit.
So is it relevant?
It's not.
No, it's a satisfaction to some person who is not privy of the succession processes that have happened of an army. An army is not constant in the mind of one person.
So that person is still
held back in the rebel mentality. But we are not in a rebel mentality. We have, as a country, we have moved on. We have made a constitution. We have decided we want a UPDF.
No, Dismas,
yes.
You have read this book, 1984. That I'm sure you have read it.
Yes.
George Orwell.
Yes, George Orwell.
George Orwell talks about newspeak. Ili abawuliza nti waliwo ekitabo ekibayita 1984 mumusinga kusoma Animal Farm nemba mwagala okutegeerera ebitambula munoonye 1984 erabika mu bookstore zaawo terimu tezibeeramu.
I think Aristotle they must be having it.
No, I first looked for it and the order they laughed at me, and then I sent somebody who was coming from out and brought it for me. Newspeak ora ayogera ku nsi eribaawo tuwajjawo abakulembeze abaagala n'okugamba nti independence yali mu 62 era ojja olabe wano hype za independence ziri wansi eza 26 January sezirwa to make you think that actually that is when Uganda got its independence. Ojja olabe teri ayagala kugenda mu Obote as father of the nation.
Yes.
Even if you don't like him. Era walobosa connotation ozuulya Museveni, father of the what? Of the nation. If you want to talk about an army, we had the first army. Even if you don't like them, it was a Uganda what?
Army.
Let's keep it, because now you see the precedents we are creating that when a president goes,
the history stops.
It stops. So
and
that
we begin
means
a new one.
tugenda kubeera mu foundation buli naku foundation kuba buli engineer ajja ku site ng'amenya byasazeyo ng'addamu ng'atandika buli engineer ajja ku site.
You know, Harold, there's another example to that. If you know, I'm a student, I'm doing my PhD in genocide studies, and every single people who have had a calamity,
Yes.
the story begins with them.
No reference of the past.
Nothing. The past is history.
Yes.
And of course, that has been the statement with President Dr. Museveni. Last time we were talking about it, speaking about the past government, the errors they made. And it's like, it is for 36 years, he has been reviving the country in the errors made by the past governments.
But you cannot correct errors of how many years? That is 6, 16 plus 8, that is 24. And you spend 36 years correcting errors made in 26.
The magnitude could be big.
Well, then what happens to the errors of the 36 years?
Let me just have a short commercial. Kweyanzizza kale ku Baba TV tuli mu kitundu kyaffe ekyokubiri ekitundu kyaffe ekyokusooka musawo yaffe eyokubiri nze Samuel Mwesigwa. Ensonga mu iwanga lino erya Uganda tusingadde twogerako, of course digema ku bantu bangi ino eri abantu abalina amaina nga bwe babanga bafunye obuzibu azibito basobola okuba ate nga bavaayo twasobola okuba ate nga tutegeera ebibafaako n'eri abantu abafuna obuzibu ngaye bantu ba buliido nga they don't have names to make us fall after their fate. Banji mubeeyo mwasafalingireeyo kyova obona ebiseera ebisinga tuvaayo twayogera ku nsonga dino oba oliawo the forces of change and the forces of torture asobola okwekuba mu mutima. Howard, obadde oŋŋamba ku magye nti it is not worthy to say UPDF is celebrating tomorrow. Why do we need to bring out those memories? What is the relevance? What is that indication? To celebrating every 6th February and we are just celebrating memories of rebels.
Nedda eyo gundi ya capture activity jinsi banjogerako. Uli abalagambwa abakola ki? Abalina. Ayakubera nga abajjukiza mbo nalwana. Era gwe nonye scripts za kulaga najira nenwana akulaga nti bwoba oyagala obuyinza nnumba gira mweno currency. Omwana abamu tebasoma mwayi Museveni ojja omulenga sinkana abasiraamu tabasika na musuuti kubanga ye mind yamugamba abasiraamu balwanyi katajja ne bips.
Has it been by coincidence then for you to quote it?
It's not a coincidence. My role is to study Mr. Museveni every day.
Buli waje yabasiraamu abakomba.
Yes, gundi atugamba Makivera akitugamba omusajja gundi ono wa art of war. Opponent oyina kumusoma nga script. Ojja omule buli wabaawo controversy mu parliament. Asitula abaka ba parliament n'abatwala ekyankwanzi. Najja nga yambadde nga jeno. Bonna nga bambadde nga privates.
So what is he communicating?
Abakulaga I am the what?
I'm the boss.
I'm the boss. Monopoly natugamba men are led by toys. Buno bugundi kasooka laba nomanya nti rank ekusinga oma oyina kuba bukubiki.
Salute.
Salute. So ekintu kyoli mukulaba ekya Terehi Sita akikola akigenderedde. Kuba he went to school, he did political science. Akikola akigenderedde. Kujjukiza. Era kyovula ayagala akunyumize. N'akulimba mbu bayina emmundu 3 which is not true. Kyovula abagezezaako obuyekera bafunye emmundu 2 nga balowooza bamusinzeeko yayina emmundu nnyingi ezisingaawo n'agamba ayina abantu 27 which is not true. That was attacking force.
KAIJA waliwo
kati bw'otunulira bw'otoyinza ogamba simanyi
genda mu maaso
oli mwesigwa Samuel olaba okunyonyola ku Yesu waliyo nitomumanyi
genda mu maaso.
kakati kyendi mu kugamba tulina abantu abaali naye nemu group ya 27 this man sadda gamba kano lutaya
eyavuga truck
tayogera nko naye naba tayogera nko nabo base tayogera nko nabo kuba bweyogera nabana nibakuwa story kati gwa omugeze
mukola research
no eventually no funa ekitufu awo nakulimba nakubula ekitufu eventually you coordinate and have the right information so ekyo kyekibi Museveni mwai Museveni kyakoze eggwanga lino tabadde a national builder yali badde akiza wagamba kuba butulya ne 10-point program ye mulimu okujjawo divisionism in the country all that wali badde odenga azimba eggwanga n'ogamba nomanyi kire kyaffe kyali kigali kututuusa mu buyinza there was a national army yayina abasirikale nga batuusoba tugabe miliyoni kakati abaffe badandike ku miliyoni emwandu 1 ekyo kiraga continuity.
What is the problem of because you've magnified the numbering and bali gwebogamba nti bali rebel
and you see when you have
bebatandika numbering
akati Museveni
so gamba bebazimba omusingi
Museveni wamubuuza is he president number 1 of Uganda?
No.
If he's not number 1 and there were others before him so there's that office of president. Lwaki talowooza there's an office of army commander, there's a Ugandan soldier whom I think it's the reason why olaba nti n'abasirikale abaaliwo edda baganye basasula pension yaabwe kubanga yalowooza tebali baki basirikale
before ngende wakunda so kati kirabika ekyo kyekyali ekifaananyi ky'aba rebels naye kati we tuba tucelebratinga tale Sita President Museveni gwe oyinza omulowooza nti akyala ba rebels. Now this was transformed n'amaagi nga bali akabinja ne ba UPDF kati tucelebratinga success eya UPDF.
Design ya Christmas eyokumbaga
ziba zanjawulo
bwogenda oli batunda ebimuli ku Bombo Road tosaa kwawula mu kino kya Valentine bano bagenda kuziika
mpozi oba mutudu
tobyawula
obyawula
bibiraluga kino akagenda kuziika yeno mugamba sorry for the loss nolaba ngoli akutte buke alabika agenda girlfriend oba agenda kulaba mulwadde so tosaa tugamba nti gwosegadde mu state yemu kino nkugambe kyalimu kwa it is psychological to build mbuyabira lunaku abira mu fighting mode kyova ne wasinkana abaana bobote n'abajjukiza abaana bobote wasinkana abaamini n'abajjukize nti lunaku era kyova yakugambe nti mutabaniwe yamutuma muhoozi to revenge. Why would you prepare for a revenge before an attack?
Tugenda tandikira kunda.
That's a good question.
It's a very good question. We shall look at it. As we round up this issue of Terehi Sita.
Yes.
For me, I think it could be memories of rebel attacks and their success to power. But maybe they have merged this to celebrate the success of UPDF. Let us not take them back and castigate them.
That day is not for UPDF.
That they are bringing memories of
Samuel, don't be their defender.
You know, the celebrating the attack on Kawamba on 6th of February is not per se is it a national celebration?
And the public holiday.
Do you celebrate it?
As a person?
Yes.
No, he does.
As a taxpayer?
But no, by his answer, he doesn't.
No, I've not answered yet.
No, but you're not supposed.
But all Ugandans, we pay allegiance to the day. That's why even we are talking about it today. Because
No, I'm asking you as a taxpayer and as a person who is responsible. Do you celebrate? Will you sit at home tomorrow and say, 6th February, we are happy that the day has arrived?
I will be here.
Anyhow, the question I'm asking you is rhetoric. I'm trying to ask you, is it a national celebration? Is it, for example, which may be, let's say, the Independence Day, right?
Labor Day.
Or Labor Day. At least those are days where
Women's Day.
or Women's Day.
Yeah.
But if you look at the activities that are going to happen tomorrow, they are going to be exclusive about remembrance about the rebel activities. It's not going to be the success of UPDF currently as it is formation is. It's going to be songs of Mwotoliwaka Kabamba, Mwotoliwaka Kapeka, etc., etc. Remembrance stories about what happened in Luwero, what happened in the various formations. So it is a precursor of understanding what the thought process is, like Harold said, of the people who are running the UPDF. It's celebrating a formation which made them become what they are, but actually was at that time a rebel group. When you're a rebel, right? You are not performing your duties. You're actually committing crimes by attacking a national installation, right? When you're a rebel. So celebrating that also has its own thinking about how do you celebrate criminality at that particular time? Because it was a crime to attack a national installation, whether you're a rebel or not.
So it could be a day to recall and to make memories of how which justice was made. It should be individuals sitting around and saying, what did we do that day? Let them sit somewhere, have a drink, and then think about what they did and what they didn't do, who shot the first bullet and who didn't, and then we have a UPDF day. So we need the UPDF day. We don't need the liberation. Well, this is not liberation.
No, it's 6 February, Terehi Sita. 6 February day.
Oh, we turn this into UPDF day.
No, it's wrong.
Those are two different things.
Because the history about it is different.
It's different.
If you have fire, you will be Uganda. Maybe I could call it Nagamba and Abayekira government installation. Bojirumba no kwatibwa. This prison. Kanasa tukajategeza abo tugambe kirungi nnyo omuntu okwate mundu bwaba ina kyagoba najja nakuba parliament.
Ajja kugamba twalumba nga twagala kuleeta mirembe. Because President Museveni abadde akugamba ekyamutwala mu nsiko. Kajja tugende mpola mpola.
Kakweza mkodomiwo.
Tugende mpola.
Mukyala we yiganga. Kakano hizo gende wali wawe yiganga n'abaliranyewo abale kweza. Nobaga lw'emirembe mbadde kugamba no mulambo. Mukodomi wa Minister wa Defense Sempijja. Bamubye emisumali mukaaga mu joints.
Mukodomi wa Minister wa Defense bamukubye emisumali.
Yes. Nga baagala annyonnyole byawandiika ku Facebook, ku Twitter. Kano hizo gamba nti waliwo emirembe. There's that saying a government, peace doesn't mean the absence of war. Ndio emirembe tekitegeza butabawo olutalo. Wabate waliwo olutalo. A combatant ndi abajega alumbye wali eri. Mbwa ye bayida eno olwaleero. Bw'ola amwaye Museveni ennaku zino entambula gy'atambula. Bw'aba ali nakasero ng'agenda kugenda
Koloro.
No. Nti gundi ani nalya wona
wabagali
wabera wagali buli meters nga 10 wabera abasirikale abo basatu kale nako nga alina mu town atamanezi APCs kyatakola abakutegeeza ki.
That is advanced security for
no and abakutegeeza ki.
No, the comparison is making. The comparison is making is if you saw Museveni in 1986, he used to stop on traffic lights.
Yes.
He would even wave at
Yes. No, they're telling you. Actually, in the book of...
what has changed now?
Let me tell you, in the book of Kazora, Betrayed by My Leader, Awandika, one time Museveni abavwa kuna Mirembe Road, atuba ku bus z'Abaganda, alaba abantu ki nga bangi. Asituka avaayo. The late Lieutenant Colonel Serwanga Lwanga, kubanga ebisebo bali gakomunanga. Gwe Museveni kawansi. Namga nvaako. Ani gwe nabbi. Kakati mulaine eddako gundi abuuza, kati olwaleero Museveni nga nayita wantu. Baba goba bakole ki? Baveewo. Ate okusitasa asagenda awo n'asituka. N'abuuza kati ani gwabbi.
Oli ku Baba TV neno TV obashabazinga program council efe twenda okubate nga tukwebaza iwali tugoberera. Of course the issue eyatale Sita buli webanga elijatuka tubona amaji involvement ya UPDF. That has been my question. Involvement ya UPDF, they do the cleaning, the same script by the way. You clean markets kola bulungi bwansi boche baagala okola okuzaawo that relationship, cordial relationship ne public ne community. When did it fall apart that they do all activities, they fight so much, they want to relate with the community? When did it fall apart?
But you see, the thing is, Mwesigwa, UPDF is made of human beings. They're not robots.
Yeah.
Right? They're human beings. And I told you last Saturday, I'm a son of a policeman. So I grew up in a police barracks. I grew up in Jinja, Busembatia, Iganga, and all that kind of stuff. And I used to relate, and this was during the time of Amin, Idi Amin, right? And I used to live with only my father in the Uniport, in the police barracks. So you could, young as I was, I could understand the structures that made what the police was, how the police related, how the police is supposed to work, how they are supposed to relate with a prisoner they have arrested. So ideally, the UPDF is supposed to be pro-people. That is why it's called UPDF, Uganda People's Defense Forces. It's not Uganda Army. That is why you have, for example, it's Uganda Police Force, right? As compared to Kenya, I think Kenya is called
Kenya Defense Force.
Kenya Defense Force, KDF, right? Which is quite telling that ours is actually a force. So the point is, the structure of UPDF is that UPDF is supposed to have, people are supposed to relate easily, quickly. If, for example, I see a UPDF officer, I should be running to him for protection. But what has been created is that there is a resentment of saying, what is the next action this person is going to do?
When he's not running
no, now there is Uganda slang, now street slang. Balabe duka. See them?
Run. Because then the next question is, there is now a new slang, if you are using slangs. What if they kakwenza me?
Yeah.
But when did that fall apart? When did the people...
It has been a process. It has been a process. It's been a process of what exactly is it describing. At one point, the president was very, very easy with the public. So what happened? What pulled him away from the public? Was there any anger that was exhibited between the public and the person called the president? Is there any anger that has been exhibited between the UPDF and the public? Why would the UPDF not so much jail that if UPDF is passing through a village, people would say, we are happy they are here. But when actually you see them, you say,
what's wrong?
I need to hide at home very quickly.
By the way, I found a community just during the second lockdown. And then the other people are saying, obusajja bubu. Obusajja bubu.
No.
It is something common.
No,
but when I was moving, I started thinking about it, saying, why did those people see these people and they fall in things and close those lights?
So what has created is they and us.
Yes. His army. Because
yes,
I said my
it's his army. And us, we live. So whenever they come, it's not a reflection of an affinity to that army. It's an affinity to an army that is answerable to someone who does not care whether that army protects us. It's that ironical. Do I make sense?
Yeah. But then
he's only shocked. Shocked.
KAIJA. But shall their activities bond us people, the wananchi, because they fight so much day after day?
Yes, ebintu bibali mukola laga nti byebyo amagye bigali badde gakola nga gaffe in the sense those who are in the CA kibaloga UPDF gabeere gaffe. I want to tell you buli kyolaba kyolina mwenje kakitandika okwambala engatto basobola okukola ki
okutambula
eggaali yasooka bangu emmotoka cellphone zolaba ya radio call
Toyota
ne bwolaba internet
yes
nti mu magye nga mwe muli solution ezitandika ng'ez'amagye nezikola ki
nezidda mu bantu
nezidda ebweru era nzirenga nti nze if I became head of state of this country in the model of my country would be Switzerland.
Why?
Nga njagala nti Uganda insi etalina tawona mu nsi yonna ki mu Africa ekitegeeza mbu oyine bw'ababba agamba kangene nkweke Uganda wali peaceful amufuna capital gubalitidde obwereere kati ne muteeka amagye gammwe nga gali mu kulowooza okunoonya solution z'ebizibu by'eggwanga kakati gwe tunuulira amagye gammwe gali mu kukola mundu gakwa ebirowoozo byago biri mu kukola ki mu kulwana kukola masasi na biki ni mukula buli byokola kebereyo simu byalinga amagye gasolvinga ekintu bwe kyafuka ekingi ne tukifuna I don't know simanyi lwaki kakati ebyola bali mu kukola tolaba babeera waliwo abantu abeegattako buli omu abalaba
even at that level they have calmed down
kubanga singa gaffe bwe gayitandise okwera bakiyamani beerusinga panne abasirikale baffe bakoze eki bazze mujye tubakole ki
tubayambe
bwe bajja okufuuyira buli omu akkiriza afuuyire mu nyumba ye
abamu baggalawo
distribution of food during COVID.
Yes.
People say, well,
yeah.
But then
waliwo nnaku lumu nali ngenze ewaffe eno wakiso kaakati mwami Museveni era agenda ndowooza masuuliita era agenda guuni mpaka Kyankwanzi kati bajja basuula abasirikale kati okuva Nakaseru bajja basuula abasirikale mpaka lwatuuke olaba kosti eyo kati olwokubambya abantu bagate bagalaba lowooza halodi gyali mugambe tavaayo obusajja bukoze eki bambi nga balowooza balese gange era balakukikomera ne balabawo emmotoka ya polisi 99 ejja nepange nebaze
nti omusajja awedde
basendika zi message kakati nga tewayinza kulowooza mbaze kunkuuma kubanga baali bamalabyeko nga banjoola kakati bwamalaga musajja waffe leero obusajja tebuzze kati oluusi nakukubira nga toliyo wona olwejja obuuso bali bazira routine patrols routine patrol oba oli kampa olina kukubira essimu nagamba sooka olindemuko katumale okusoma ki obudde nga bala poliisi eya Uganda kakati gundi batta abiriga bakavalinga area ya kilomita nga 2 tugenda okulangiro zigundi nti ngotulamu nobody thinks mbanamu officer means well to him ekyo kibi eri eggwanga
so now the people
ebintu bye bali mu kukola in 1 week
tebina kyebikola
baali baddenga kiba kitegeeza nti tumanye ebirungi bwe bikolebwa netusalawo okukola ki ebibi kakati olaba mu UPDF Act temulimu SFC SFC Special Force Command mu tteeka lya UPDF terimu naye gye bayita elite what brigade naye omanyi kye bayita elite ye muntu yasoma nga ategeera ebintu naye kati nadda naye ba elite ate batali mu mateeka from formation tubasasula omusaala tuba training esinga naye ng'abantu betuseekako sente zaffe tebali ki mateeka
kunda lastly
kukawulira kakwanza kano CMI terina kubeera na gundi chief tenants of military intelligence na detaining what centers olwaliro ezirina
awo mbadde njagala okujja okubuuza kunda tubadde tuwebuuza nti when President Museveni the army and did part can it be the change of mind of Ugandans nti n'abana Uganda nabo balabika for some good time mutandise okuproving and exhibiting nti muli babulabe eri current regime. So nabo ne bagamba nti these people, as if we call on our people, we are esteemed to defend and keep. Balabika babulabe je tuli.
But you know, first of all, Ugandans are, we are taxpayers, we are Ugandans, and we are supposed to be protected by the UPDF, right? But the questions that we are raising is that the kind of army that we thought that was supposed to be is veering into something that we never expected, which is not constitutional right. So we can't be rebellious against ourselves. We are only trying to say we need an army that is working towards our welfare and our security, other than its own security and harming our people. More like, me, I'm more concerned actually the kind of torture that we're there. You know, Mr. Museveni went to the bush to fight Obote over the same issues, issues to do with the torture, disappearances, but we are exactly doing the same things. So is it a repeat of history, or would it make sense if someone told you that actually you are doing exactly the same things that you propagated and you said that you are going to do?
Are we whether to blame him, or there are some people in this government that are doing these things against his
command and
control?
I told you.
No, this musician called Mayinja. Enyimba ze zakasembayo mulimu ebyakulwanya bikoze eki bizemu n'akwadologies. Recently nali ku my YouTube channel nakikola mu Luzungu nangamba mu ngikole mu Luganda abasinga lubategeera nga ntunuulira point by point of 10 point what program. Bosiramu zino ze zamuleta nga tekuliko ne mujakoze eki kyaga fighting corruption nga gokebera bagamba gundi democracy bukeba democracy wali bwagamba gundi human rights, you look at what is happening. Nepotism and tribalism, you look at what happening. Look at the so that whatever
waliwo abantu mu government abakola contrary ku kyayagala.
Management bagambayo bati a team is as good as its what manager.
Subira ensonga edo Munayuganda ali eyo weno olina engeri yodibonaku oli yodibonamu mayisound akuwakaganya osobola okuba ate ng'oteesaaku nife iwe ensonga edo odibona otya. Of course there have been a couple of issues ensonga d'abaka ba parliament ku bantu abalito shad. It's a very big discussion tusobola kuba ate nga tugiye preempting just in 30, 20, 1 hour but tujogeraku tusobola okuba ate nga abali concerned bakikolaku. Tendo okuba ate nga tuyozaayoza omwogezi w'amagye omuyaka Brigadier General Felix KAIJA ya replacing the Brigadier General Flavia Byekwaso this week. Appointment ye waidire Brigadier General Flavia Byekwaso ali mu training eidinde eyo. Actually president akoze ina appointments empyaka in my own observation mbwe nengale sayina abami okureplacing abakyala mu appointments they divided. However, that's not the topic of today. Which you know, President Museveni abali kwogera n'abannamateeka opening a year of law. Yayogera a lot of issues nga bali kumulopera obuzibu bwe tulina abalamuzi batono mutwongereyo abalamuzi n'ebintu ebindi. Yavaayo yayogera ku nsonga ya bail yakuba nti idye nga ajogerako aye ab'ekitongole ekiramuzi bali oti bali lenient ino nga tibenda kukola kintu mwene kyalowooza nti nekizaana ekisaana abantu abandi abakoze emisango. Yatuuka n'okwogera ku First Son Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba yatukobera nga family n'ekika n'okuzaalibwa kwe ensonga lwaki bamutuuma eriina eryo. Ensonga eno yaleetera Abanayuganda bangi okuinterpretinga statement ya president. Kyene ndaba enawo mu studio bona batuwe ku the interpretation and their future. Producer wange sooka ompe ebigambo bya president.
no extrajudicial killing. I have been talking once in a while, complaining, saying that the issue of bail, this bail is a provocation. You want people to kill one another because among the Banyankore, if you wrong me, my clan is duty bound to revenge. Kora or Kora. When you hear my son's name, Mhozi, when he was born, I said, now I have got somebody to avenge me. That's what his name means. Now that I have got a boy, this is the one who will avenge me in case I am something wrong is done to me. Mhozi, the clan was the one revenging on behalf of the offended. But in powerful kingdoms like Ankore, that power of revenging, even before colonialism, had now been taken over by the king. Instead of you revenging for yourself, the king is the one who would revenge for you. You would go to the king and you say, Your Majesty, revenge for me. Somebody has done me wrong. Now the Republic inherited that role of taking over the grievances of the people and acting on them. That's why the people can be relaxed and sit back and say, I don't have to do anything, the state will act for me. So therefore...
Okay. Mr. Kunda, it was a big discussion, but because of time, I just cut it short. President Museveni's statement rose people's attention since he made it. Many people interpreted it the way they wished.
Which statement? The statement that his son is called Mhozi?
That is going to avenge on those that...
But I think the statement isn't very far from exactly what Mr. Museveni is. By the time you give birth to a son, I think Mr. Mhozi is about 40 years, right?
No, it's close, getting near 50.
Near 50. By the time the child is born and you already name him that he's going to avenge for me, why should you have a child who is going to avenge for you? What have you done? What, at that point when you are giving the name to the child? You see, names, you think your parents were not clever to name you Mwesigo?
I think they were.
They were very clever. I'm called Nkunda. Nkunda means love in my language.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what it means in Lugisu. It's a different matter. But the moment a person gives you or attaches a name to you, and that name is supposed to be a catchphrase for your own life, you the parent, it is telling. So who is Mhozi going to avenge against his father? What will the father have done for him to be able to avenge for the wrongs of the father that will have done? What are those things?
Can we so much say that he meant what he spoke, or we take it just a political statement?
It's not. He was speaking about bail.
And he gave an example.
Yes, and he gave an example.
Himself as an example.
Yes. That if you are going to do bail, that what used to be is that individuals used to avenge by themselves, or they would ask kings to avenge for them. But in this case, because of bail, we have given the right of avenge to the state. So for him, he's saying, for him as an individual and as a parent and as a father, he named his son Mhozi so that in case something wrong happens to him, his son can avenge for him. So the interpretation depends on anybody, depending on what exactly you think. You're going, would you name your son an avenger?
Because even by the time of naming,
Exactly.
I've not done something, and I'm not fearing of anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Because we believe at the time of birth, Mr. Museveni was not the president.
no. But clearly, he knew that at some point, there's something that he's going to do that will require some other person to come and avenge on his behalf.
He had a mission.
We might be on a territory of fear, yet it is, political giants make propaganda diversionary politics. Somebody may be diverting people's mind on, but when it's not so much meaning what is speaking.
You see, let me tell you something, and this one maybe I'll differ a little bit with my brother Harold. Mr. Museveni is not stupid. He is not. He's not stupid. By saying that statement, where he said it, at the time he said it before those lawyers, at the time of Muhoozi's starting to emerge, the East African newspaper is the one who said that he's stepping out
of the shadow.
At the time of that we are about to celebrate Terehi Sita tomorrow, he couldn't. Museveni knows exactly. I have interviewed Mr. Museveni several times. I think the last time that I tried to speak to him, he told me, no, you don't speak, because if you ask questions, I'm going to lock you up. And I never asked the questions that I wanted to ask. But that's the history. But the point is, he knows exactly what he was saying. He couldn't speak about his son. Rarely does Mr. Museveni speak about his children if he's not making some very important statement. He doesn't.
So we shouldn't take it for granted.
No, we should take it with the seriousness that he has mentioned it.
KAIJA, ensonga eyo gwoginnyonnyola otya? I don't want even to ask that and that. Just how do you interpret it?
Nabadde gamba no mubulango.
Tutogenda gyogerako.
Alimpaniza ku Facebook yange. Kange bwe namala okola akakwenza. Bwafanna mu mugongo. Kati muyita mulenzi.
Akwenza omuyita mulenzi.
Oyo gweyogerako. Erinnya lye njagala ndyerabire. Waliwo omugone mu psychology bagamba you can forget. There's what they call motivated forgetting.
You have things that are motivating you.
No, you fight yourself, yes, to forget something. Tandika okubanga ne bwe ndyogera ndikola muki ensobi. Nga wagambye, Mwai Museveni is a political scientist. Bwe lwa stepping out okwogera, aba alina message gyawa. Eri direct n'eri indirect. Gyalekera abagezi atula wansi to unpack. Tuyinza okumala osanga musajja lwaki ayogera bw'atyo. Okusooka mu statement ye alina bw'akulaga ayagala obukulembeze obw'ensikirano, abwegomba, era yali yeegombye okuba n'oluli olulangira nga ye king alina abalangira, omuyinza n'okubeera crown prince. Kyovuddwa olagge nti tuli abantu balwanagananga nga either abaana bo oba ekika kyo they revenge on our behalf singa baba bakusse oba ki. Naga kye baakola ne babukwasa omugabe. Kati yeerabira mu ki? Omugabe. Mayembo ekintu ekyo mbw akiraba there was a time yakyaza kabaka wa Buganda. Kakati bwamba amala okulya akanamugamba nti mu Buganda ni bwaba kabaka ng'aliwo yabagabudde. Kyamukwatako nnyo. King aba in charge. Kanagamba ekitegeeza ki? Era ojjukira bwe yakyusa ekigambo n'eyita Ssaabagabe. Ekibagala n'akireka eyo ne katananga okukola to make it full. Kyovola nti olaba olwaleero muganda we yakwata economy, mukyala we yali ku education, omutabani ali mu magye n'abalala nga bwalabanga bakabaka ki abedda nti prince babeera in charge of all that you're seeing. Kati akubuli agamba mbu nti bwe lwali tusoma mu African history bali agamba mbu king oba kabaka yalinga akulira religion, the head of the economy, the court of the politics and the head of justice, the Chief Justice. Kakati agamba yagenda okubeera nga Chief Justice wa capital offences. Nedda akikugambye. Tokamazeeyo wange ekyeseyo nakyogaga nti mubasalire nze nja bbawa nga pardon. Ye kakati nti bino ebyagamba nti kusonyiwa. It must be him.
Of course he holds that as the president.
Yes, and kati bino abagizaga nti mwanguye n'emisinde kubanga talaba nnyo fayiro zigenda ku mmeeza ye. Kati nga akusonyiwa era by the kintu kya bail twayirekeddawo n'okidiscussinga kati. Kubanga ekyo yakimala.
Kyagwa kitya? Ani
gwe bawadde bail gw'owulidde ennaku zino?
Tumanyi discussion yaggweti.
Anti yabalagira. Ojjukira issue y'abagundi y'abano ba MPs bwe yatuuka e Masaka. Omulamuzi n'agidduka ne principal judge n'ajja era ne batafuna ki? Ojjukira nga baali bafunye bail gye baasasula miliyoni aga 2 cash. Ne bata breaking ko olunaku lumu conditions of bail bali munda.
So ensonga ya bail
yagigala. Tagenda kwebonyabunya bagende mu kooti agenda kula bwe bwana agabye okugenda mu kusoma mu parliament ejja kweta noise ya bwerere yakigalira eyo.
So last
kubanga mugunde tekaliwa
Muhammad
Segirinya is there until when you give them bail you finish because court says zinokusokuwa bail zirimu abalamuzi bato. They are young bagala sigalanga promotions akati waga nze nkwe bail nsigale ku high court abana bajje bagene court of appeal kati buli alowooza mbu alina career path ngali selfish bwa ziba selfish gonde agamba I won't give you bail because when ekirungi kyekuteeka ligamba president bw'akuwa obwa judge tasaba okujjako.
And you have entitlements until you die.
Yes. Kakati kakati kyatasobola kuwa kati bw'omunyiiza tasobola kulinnyisa. Kati bw'oba owulira okyagala okulinnya okola kyakoze eki.
Akola interest ze.
Yes, kyagala. So kati akubuulidde nti kati eggwanga lino ayagala ddi managinganga eggwanga. Olwakuba mbu kyenalabyemu bwenyonyodde ekitegeeza erinnya lya mutabaniiwe. Kiba kitegeeza nti Mwai Museveni atulabanga Banayuganda abalabanga abantu abamunyiiza. Mbadde nga nkirowoozaako nyingi era kibuuza n'abantu. Naye nga tuyinza Mwai Museveni ontwamunyiiza. Enfuga gyatufuga si abantu boolaba nga mikwano gyo. So kati okubeera n'anaakulivenjingira alivenjinga ku abo abakunyiiza.
Muyinza okuba si bonna nga bayogerako batono nnyo.
Genda kati sooka otunuulire. Mwai Museveni yalwanira eruweero. N'agituma ekibayita Mecca. Genda obuze ku musiraamu yenna akubula Mecca bw'afaanana. Ne bw'ogira ku TV. We want to awali enguudo ennungi, awali amalwaliro amalungi. Nti bw'okoge Mecca, you want to think you are near heaven. Bwali badde otugamba nti Luweero ye Mecca yo. Twalisanze enguudo ennungi, amasomero amalungi, ebiki byonna ki ebirungi. Nti kati olaba nti ogenda kati ojja otulinda ntera okugamba n'ekigambo ekitera okukusesa. Nti waliwo correlation waffe musatizi batera okuziyita naye mu Luganda waba mu Luso balibadde ogamba waliwo Oluganda wakati w'ebitundu ebirina obwavu n'obwagizi bw'NRM. Nti abantu abasinga okubeera abaavu
bawagira NRM
walibadde olowooza ate Mwai Museveni asinga obutamwagala gy'osanga alwana okuteeka ki sente zaguzeeguze ba politician wano e Kampala nizateekateeka agezeeko okubazikiza n'ogenda n'eyo Busoga genda Bukeddi wa Bukeddi region esinga obwavu genda e Bunyoro baile ne bogenda mu Ankole disibasa ajja kubuli gizo ogenda ne Mukakunaga naye alowooza sente z'omusajja ezawagala zateeka ziteekawo. You see abject poverty genda okwata ine ekkuba erigenda Lwakitula kuliko n'ennyumba ez'essubi kanoobuuza ono abamwagala how does he love back?
KAIJA, can we say that this is the beginning of the succession process?
Kakati ale ne succession kanjibuli Banayuganda olwaleero gye muliko bagita decoy.
Si succession.
Abantu gwe balowooza agenda okuddira Mwai Museveni mu bigere singa ffe abali change force esobodde kumwejjirako mulala. Omwai Museveni wagaa nti agenda Masaka mutegere ku ku lw'ejjinja.
Takuuma kigambo ki?
Nedda ayogeramu opposite nga Ludicha. Ludicha wasomera mwayogera Ludicha. Ng'ebigambo bitandikira kuva mabega. Mwesigwa gwasimwe.
So neshi naayogera Ludicha.
Kati mwesigwa tugamba gwasimwe nga ntegeeza mwesigwa. Kati gyagamba gyalaga bwe lunadda mu mulango mathematics ngenda kukubalira kibayita omuntu gwe bayita Crown Prince mumunooye mu Uganda. Mwetegereze ani ayina ekonomi y'eggwanga agifuga essaawa zino. Ani ayambako mu Museveni okulonda cabinet?
Waliwo amuyamba?
Ani agabazi contract mu Uganda muno? Ani asalawo mu Uganda muno bw'aba nga si mu Museveni? Waliwo omuntu w'okubiri.
Kunda. Chekibuzo kyekimu nga tumaliriza. For me, I can say, this is what we've been asking. Let's see Museveni's succession process and plan. Can we say that this is some of the indicators that is telling you what does it compose with?
I don't understand the question. Can you ask the question again?
President Museveni naming his first son as one who is going to avenge on himself, on those people that angered him or affected him, or who may affect him. Can we be saying that it's a prophecy? It is an ironical question that is beginning his succession plan.
I don't think that. Okay, there are certain things, there are certain indications that you can tell that certainly he's promoting Kainerugaba in terms of his recent visit to Rwanda, the reopening of the border, making him seem as if he's a statesman, is an individual who is capable of promoting him, possibly the youngest lieutenant general that we have in the UPDF, and being promoted by your father. There are questions around that, around that whole theory of promoting your child faster than the rest of his peers. But I can't take anything away from the son. Muhoozi, like any person, like me, like Harold, like you, you're entitled to stand as a president of Uganda. As long as you meet the criteria. The only thing that you can have a doubt about is whether you're using the advantage of being the son of the president to be able to access that state power. So whether the father is, whether the Muhoozi comes and stands as a president and has all the qualification, I have no problem with that. He can stand. We had the Katumbo and everybody had, wouldn't stop him. If you get the money, you get the qualification, you have the right message to the people, and people give you votes, that's very fine. But the only difference is that you don't use the advantage of it. So by the father stating that, I don't know whether he's stating it as a fact of a military, not a country, a political process of the country, or he was stating it as a family matter. But when you are saying it, the place he said it, the people he told that message to, it is intended to deliver a message that actually there is that even if I have wronged anyone, I have a process in which someone will be able to avenge for
or to protect me
in case of anything that I have done wrong to anyone.
KAIJA tusibule.
No, senyo eri bannaffe abatava ku baba mwebale nnyo abatugobedde for 2 hours kuba oli obawa morning hours 2 hours nga batulaba. That is good. Ne Banayuganda mulwane nnyo okumanya mubadde mwafunye slogans zitwagala kumanya wone naje mwagambira basirika. Those are bad slogans. Nti laba abba sirika, laba atokyalinga omuntu sirika, laba akolaki sirika.
Anti abogera mulaba ebibatuuka.
Waliwo ababizimba. Countries like ours ebintu ebibaawo omuntu olina kubeera aware gwe bayita citizen. Dine gwanga
kyogamba n'ebyasirika nabyo birimu ababisponsoringa.
Mama gwagamba gwayo. You don't know what they call statecraft. Bw'oli gitegeera kintu kinene baba settingamu ekintu to break your resilience. To become loners.
So tulekero sirika.
No, you must speak out.
Tuogere.
Nenda kati bade batwala ababoda abagundi abatembeyi ababoda balaba. Nega next to the queue. Nabalaba. So no, you see problem ya munno yange ino okuba yeyo ino okuba ya distance we naba mukwatako kubabwe sim protecting na breaking ne bakuluma n'ensirika bagenda okulwa nga mpoze ekinga breakings. So Ugandans must be assertive. Ekibuze mu ggwanga muno it is love. Tuyina okulwana twage, otherwise bolaba gye tulaga things are not going to be good.
Thank you. Mami Kunda.
Yes, sir.
Your parting remarks as you wind up.
No, it is good again that you invited me. I think this is the second time I was here last weekend, and I got so many feedback about people who watch this program. I think it's for me it's giving back to Busoga because Busoga is where I grew up, and Abasoga they are my people. So it's always good to be here and have a conversation with my people.
Thank you so much for joining us. Nenda abayidukiza Abasoga n'Abanayuganda olunaku lujja lwa Lwakutaano saasira yukwidde na kudomo ezinga 12 kyabazingadde. Ku lunaku lw'eno olwo Baba Isa kyabazinga ni KAIJA ajja kuyidda ni Dismas Kunda nja kuyidda nabo bonabona. Lunaku olwo Baba Isa kyabazinga Abasoga alijja kuyigira Obusoga lukiiko omwaka guno olusooka. Olunaku lw'eno olwo Ministry ya Gender, Labour and Social Development awala ni President w'eggwanga erya Uganda ni government balijja tugemya olubiri olwo lwazimbibwa igulu ku Igenge. So emikolo gyabo esatu mu mulala kyenendo okuba ate nga mbayidukiza nti olunaku olwo kuzira ku kaadi Omusoga yona yoolikeera bukeere emikolo gijja kubaawo ku kitebe ky'obwa Kyabazinge Bugembe wansi awo yona yooli ida asobola okuba ate nga tubaawo. Emikolo egijoba igulu ku lusozi Igenge okugemya olubiri egyo girijja kuba ku kaadi aye wansi emikolo egijoba egya Kyabazinga nga tudaguza Kyabazingadde n'olunaku abalangira we baateesa baakoba nti tulekere buli omu okuba ate nga afugira mu isaza lye tufunemu omuntu mulala abe nga atukulembera nga Kyabazinga. So nenda kuba ate nga mbewemba tusobola okuba ate nga tubaawo mu bungi era tusobola okuba ate nga tudaguliza walala nila taise Kyabazinga w'Abasoga. Era wenaawo nenda okuba ate nga nkusema okuba gyotandike ni ttiimu yange gye nkoze nayo Sauda mu control Philip n'abali ku kamera Isa Kyabazinga w'Abasoga William Wilberforce Kadombula na Diopega Bulowo kuna latafunvu ebyanda n'ebyanda.